Gypsy's Kiss. It's Friday, Fenntrospection, and I'm Shelley Carney.
And I'm Toby Younis. Join us and we'll tell you about our survey. All right, before I start with housekeeping, I do want to mention that we are conducting the 2019 Fenn Treasure Searcher Survey, and you can find the link to the survey down below. Personal or contact information is not required. There is an option to have the survey materials mailed to you after the survey is completed, but other than that, you don't have to do it. The only requirement is that in order to make sure we only get one survey per person, you have to sign in with a Google account, okay? So, hi, Miss Shelley. How are you doing?
Hi.
You're doing good?
I'm super. How are you?
Good. I'm super too. So that
Super-de duper, like we're wearing our superhero colors.
Yeah. Superhero colors today.
Housekeeping, you want towels?
You do need towels. So make sure that before you leave today's video, you like our video. YouTube likes it, and we like it when you like our videos. Share our videos with your family, friends, neighbors, business associates, and the entirety of your social networks so that we can
grow our channel.
And then if you're not already a subscriber, this would be a good time to subscribe. That way, whenever we schedule a live stream or we start a live stream, you will be immediately informed and
in the know.
You certainly will be.
Don't forget to click the bell.
Did you Facebook us? Did you set us up on Facebook? Thank you.
I did.
Let me make this quick change here.
I didn't do it on your page. I did it on my page.
Oh, well, do you have anything that you want to talk about while I'm doing this so that I can do it on my page?
Sure, why not? So today we're going to be talking about our survey about where the treasure is most likely to be located according to the Forrest Fenn search community. And right after this show, I will be presenting a show on the softer side, thesofterside.live, and today we're going to be talking about how to deal with your feelings and the life after a breakup. It could be a breakup, a divorce, could be an illness, a job loss, any kind of loss in your life. How do you come back from that? How do you bounce back? How do you gain your resilience? And I hope that you will join us in the chat room. We have a great supportive group in there, and we have a lot of fun. Toby and I have a nice discussion about it, and he's got some great insights because he's lived through a lot of these kinds of situations. So I hope that you'll join us at 2:30 on thesofterside.live.
Boy, have I. And then last but not least, if you'd like to contribute to our project, there's two ways to do it. There is a stylized dollar sign at the bottom of the chat window. You can use that to
cha-ching,
give us the old
highlight
cha-ching.
your comment in a beautiful box.
Right. And then also, if you don't want YouTube to take the 30% that they normally do, there's the address down there to paypal.me/gypsykiss. You're welcome to contribute there as well.
Down there?
I'm sorry, in the description box.
It's in the crawl
below.
too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Somewhere.
It is in the crawl.
It'll be up
Everything about us
there
is up
eventually.
in that crawl.
And here, send us an email. And here, call us, leave a text. So we got everything crawling around on our screen.
Is that Gypsy's Kiss? Shelley, is that Monica Lewinsky lipstick you are wearing?
It's my lipstick.
It never belonged to
I didn't get it from Monica.
Monica Lewinsky. And then there was something else I wanted to say.
I'm wearing blue.
Shelley's wearing blue and I'm wearing red. Oh, if you want to send us a text message or leave a voicemail, use the number below, 866-597-9901. Also, later in the show, we'll open up that number so you guys can call in and tell us what you think about our survey. So this is all
Why are all the
about...
comments highlighted?
I don't know.
There. Phew.
Phew.
Those make me annoyed.
Phew.
Okay, so look at Minotaur Moreno. He has highlighted a Gypsy's Kiss with the @ sign.
Rats. Okay. That's not done.
I'll just hang up on him then.
That's a personal. Let me go change that real quick. Thank you, Minotaur. Thank you. I'm going to go change that while you guys are talking. Let's see the book. So you can only select one book. Oh, that was stupid.
So we're putting a survey up, and we're still working out the bugs. So thank you, Minotaur, for reporting a bug.
Oh.
And if anybody else comes across any mistakes, let us
Minotaur,
know.
I am looking at it right now, and it's a multiple choice. Radio buttons are in which of the following treasure locations have you been boots on the ground, which is multiple. Oh, course, that's right. It is radio buttons. Hold on. Checkboxes. Well, that data's going to be off a tad.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that, guys. We will, if you have already taken the survey and weren't able to, Minotaur, thank you very much for that. If you have already taken the survey and weren't able to complete it because I made that mistake, you can go back and edit it. I think I put another short question in there as well. But go back and, as Minotaur pointed out, the question that I asked about the books that you own, the Fenn memoirs that you own, only allowed you to select one. I've changed it so now that you can select two. Any other
any other mistakes?
Any
that
other
you
mistakes?
Might see,
Yeah.
let us know.
Please let us know.
And we'll fix it.
And as I said before, the link to the survey is down below. You need to sign on with a Google account. That's how we prevent an individual taking the survey multiple times. And then lastly, you do not have to provide any personal information unless you choose to. And that's only if you want a copy of the data once the survey is completed.
And if you change your mind about any of your answers, you can go back and edit them.
So the survey is going to run from today through the end of the month, June 30th inclusive, and then we will present the data to you on the following Wednesday at our 1 o'clock show in just the standard form. You're going to see what it looks like here in just a minute. I'm going to switch over so you guys can see the survey.
Is it really warm in here, or am I just hot today?
You're always hot. Is the vent open?
When would you have closed it?
Look over your head. Is it open over there?
Yes.
Do you want to go turn the air conditioner down? Just press the down button until you're happy.
Really?
Yeah, but you start and it goes up to 85, but then press it until you want to cool down. All right?
All right.
All right. While you're doing that, I'm going to talk about the survey while our hottie is cooling down. So a couple of things. This is the second survey that we conducted, and I'm going to show you last year's survey, which was almost as comprehensive as this one and told us a lot about the survey, but we only got, I think, 69 respondents in that survey, and I want to get more this year so that we have good quality information. So the Fenn Treasure Survey, as I said, the link is down below. I shortened the link because, as you can see up there, it's just monstrously long. It asks, what is your gender, male or female? We're not going to give you any other options. You're going to have to make a choice because it's required. In which age group do you fall? And these are basically the marketing statistical age groups. And by the way, this is the same information that YouTube uses to provide us information on our viewers. In what year did you start searching for the Fenn treasure? How many times have you been boots on the ground to search for the Fenn's treasure? On the average, how much time each week do you spend in Fenn treasure research? And we'd like you to include the amount of time that you spend browsing the forums and looking at YouTube channels. Then I asked, and this is the one that I just corrected, which of the Fenn memoirs do you own? The Thrill of the Chase, Too Far to Walk, Once Upon a While, and we're only concerned about the memoir. In which of the following treasure locations have you been boots on the ground? You can check all that apply. So if you've been in, like we have New Mexico, Colorado, and Wyoming, you can check all of them. We ask, which state do you think Fenn hid the treasure? And this year I divided out Yellowstone just so I can get the data because I think people were confused. All we had was Wyoming and Montana. And I think we needed an option for Yellowstone. So what I've done is Wyoming, but not Yellowstone National Park, Montana, but not Yellowstone National Park. And then Yellowstone National Park has its own button. Then we asked, in which year do you believe it's going to be found? We put to this year, then the next 3 years, and then started breaking it out bigger than that. And we included one that says Fenn's treasure will never be found, for those of you who believe that it's just not going to be found. And then we asked, what is the probability that you believe you'll find Fenn's treasure? And I'm always surprised at how many say 100%. 100%, because we get 300 people that say 100%, so I don't know. And then I wanted to know where you came from, so I posted this at Chase Chat, Harry's, the Hint of Riches, Reddit, and Facebook. And I wanted to just get a good idea. And that was one of the questions that I added. So if you didn't get that question, you've already completed the survey and you didn't get that question, I'd appreciate it if you'd go back and answer those couple of questions. You can sign on with your Google address, and then it'll let you edit. You do have the right to authority, the permission to edit it. Okay, anything
Okay.
else? Would you like to add?
So did you tell them what it came up with the last time we did this?
We're going to go through that right now.
Oh, okay. Then, no, I have nothing to add.
Okay. So what I'd like to do now is I'm going to switch over to the data from last year's survey. As I said, it wasn't as comprehensive as this one. This one asks for a little bit more information. And oh, by the way, we've been contacted over the past year by the various companies that are writing articles about Fenn and making videos, documentaries or video shorts, publications of all kinds, of all media. Is there something wrong?
No.
Okay. All kinds of media. And they ask us not only for... They ask us for this data as well as the data that we get from YouTube. And YouTube doesn't tell us as much because it's all based on viewership. But we do know, the gender of our viewership and the age groups, things like that.
There's no
and where they're
option
calling
for
from.
boots on the ground 0? I thought there was 0 to 5 or something.
Great, I gotta change that. How many times have you been boots on the ground? And search. Okay, I'll change that.
You should have 0 to 2, not 1 to 2.
Well, I need to know if they've been at least once. So let me add.
Yeah. Never.
Let me add. It's not letting me add.
Just
another
put it at
option.
the bottom. Add other,
No.
or
Oh, there it is.
say never.
Real-time editing of the. Okay, so I changed that, and let me see. It is multiple choice. Yeah. So there is. I've never been boots on the ground as an option. So again,
Steve Klein wants to know what state has the most boots on the grounds.
So hang on. So
Is that something you can determine from this?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So currently, let's see, in which year, how much? So this is with 33 responses so far. How many times have you, no, not how many times.
See, I didn't think that would be answerable from this.
Which was
Because
it?
just because they think it's somewhere doesn't mean they've searched there.
In which of the following treasure locations have you been boots on the ground?
Ah, okay.
Choose all that apply. The
you
top number is New Mexico, followed by Colorado, Wyoming, but not Yellowstone, and Montana, but not Yellowstone, are tied, and then Yellowstone National Park. So Yellowstone National Park is 30%,
It's third
is in third place.
so far.
Ahead of it is Colorado with 39% and New Mexico with 57%. So that's where people have been searching. So yeah, we'll be able to get this data as soon as we get. Right now, I don't feel like we have enough of the responses to start making judgments and presenting the data. So we'll be presenting that on. I think it's July 3rd, Wednesday, July 3rd at 1 p.m. Did I say that?
I think so, yeah. Right there.
Yeah. So at 1 p.m. we'll present the data just like this. But as I said, if you'd like the detail of the data, make sure you put your email address at the end, and we'll email a PDF copy of the data to you. Okay? So let me go on to last year's data. Okay, so this is the 2018 data, and again, I want to point out it wasn't this study wasn't as comprehensive as this year. So there's more questions this year and more detail required. So this was the makeup of the gender: 71% male, 29% female. That differs from our YouTube viewership slightly. Our YouTube viewership is 85% male and 15% male, which probably indicates
Female.
that. I'm sorry, did I say that wrong?
You said them both male.
Okay, 85%
We do
male
have some females.
and 15% female, and we think the difference is because of YouTube, because of video watching. Females are less likely to watch YouTube videos than males are.
Well, at least this type of video.
Yeah.
They prefer other things.
Other things, what does that mean?
Well, men watch things like this. They watch how-to videos on how to fix things or how to, how people work on restorations and vehicles and all of that sort of thing. Whereas women are more likely to watch things about working on themselves and the softer side, for instance.
So Tony Driver says, let me go back, and I'm going to make these changes real time so that we can make sure that we get the data.
Yeah.
So we didn't.
And we don't forget that way.
So I am going to make, I'm going to make that question, Tony Driver, I'm going to make that one not required, so that if you don't, have any, you don't have to answer the question. So that question is now not required. I don't think it makes any difference. Yeah, so it's not required, Tony. You can go back and take a look at it now. See, real time, real time.
You guys are awesome for helping us get this right.
So yeah, and make sure that if you had any problems with this and you've seen us correct it on here, make sure you go back and edit your survey so that it's correct. All right, so let's go back to the data again. All right. So second, in what year did you start your search for the Fenn treasure? And this slides around this way so you can see 2010, 11, 12, 2013, where I started, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. And this only went up to, so we had a lot of searchers starting, a very significant percentage. As a matter of fact, more than a plurality started in 2016, 2017, 2018. So they were all new to search. We'll see how that's changed or whether it kind of remains the same for the next survey. And then in which state do you believe Fenn hid his treasure? And again, it starts here with New Mexico at approximately 40%, Colorado at 14.5%, Wyoming with 23.2%, and Montana with 23.2%. And as I said, in this year's survey, we broke out Yellowstone. So now it says Wyoming, but not Yellowstone, Montana, but not Yellowstone. And then there's a separate entry for Yellowstone so we can get a sense of what's going on up there as well. And then how many times have you been boots on the ground? And I did include the never in there. And there was a bunch of 20%, 1 out of every 5 people in 2018 had not actually been boots on the ground that took the survey. 1 to 5 times is the majority, 6 to 15 times, 11 to 20, and then more than 20 times where and people like Dale, Cynthia, Illinois Ghost, and a couple of other people fall because I actually added higher numbers on this year's survey so that we can get a sense of how many people are going out hundreds of times, because there are those. Keep an eye on those in case anybody tells us we have more changes to make. On the average, how much time do you spend in Fenn treasure related research each week? 10% at 3 hours, less than 3 hours. The majority of people have 40%, 3 to 10 hours, 11 to 20 hours. And then more than 20 hours. This year, the only change that I made is I think I refined it down a little bit, but I also asked you to count the time that you spend browsing the forums and looking at YouTube videos. What do you believe is the percent probability you will find Fenn's treasure? There were a couple that said 0%.
Lori wants to know, what if you do not have a state narrowed down yet? I would say just your best guess, right?
Yeah, best guess. Just best guess.
Best guess.
What did it say? It's hard for Toby to say. Plurality. Yeah, apparently I get. I have trouble with my tongue after 1 o'clock. 1 to 25%, and these are big numbers, I understand, but 1 to 20. If you're 1, then it's in the 25% range. 26 to 50, 51 to 75, 76 to 99, and then there are 14.5% that believe they're 100% probable they're going to find the treasure. So there's going to be a lot of unhappy ones.
Ask not for whom the rooster crows.
Right.
It crows for thee.
For thee. When do you believe the treasure will be found? Now, this is interesting because this started, of course, last year in 2018, and 40% of the population believed that the treasure would be found in 2018, and a significant majority, 40% plus 42%, 83%, thought it would be found sometime between 2018 and 2020. So we'll see how that's changed, because all those people that said it was going to be found in 2018 were wrong about their guess. This is a belief, not a guarantee. So they'll have to restructure and see if they believe 2019 or they have a completely different opinion this year. And then this is, I did include none. The Thrill of the Chase, which of the Fenn memoirs do you own? 84% owned Thrill of the Chase. 15% didn't own any of the books, and they considered them searchers enough to take the survey. So I did some cross-matching between people who had the book and people who had ideas about boots on the ground and when the treasure will be found. And there was a common correlation there. I should probably present that data some way as well. So last year I asked which Fenn-related internet assets do you most often use for research, and then to rank them on 1 to 5. And generally speaking, Google and other search engines were the most helpful. Fenn-related forums were occasionally helpful. So nobody got, a bad rating completely. This actually was extended by 1 because I included us. And we were pretty well ranked. We were nice, and even some people thought it was not helpful.
What's the 4th one?
I don't know. I don't know why I didn't print that. There could be just an other in there someplace, but it didn't print the name. So, okay, so that is last year's survey. As you can see, this year's survey is far more comprehensive, lots of questions, no personal questions.
You changed the boots on the ground one to have a never, right?
Yes. Let's see, in which the probability. It's up at the top.
How many times? You just passed it. Right there. At the very bottom.
At the back.
Missouri Dave, we added at the very bottom.
Can I move that?
We just added that today, so you can go back and edit if you need to.
Here.
Oh, he just moved it to the top.
I don't know what that'll do to the numbers, but yeah, so I did add one. I've never been boots on the ground to that question, Missouri Dave. And what was the other one? Which of the memoirs?
Yeah, which of the memoirs?
I didn't add that.
You didn't add none. You just made it not required.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We don't want to know if you, do we?
Well, you asked the last time. We don't want to know, do we? Maybe we want to know.
Okay.
Inquiring minds.
Inquiring minds want to know. Okay, so I've added none to which of the Fenn memoirs do you own. So if you've taken the survey, please go back, and if you have any changes that you need to make.
Now that we've played around with it.
Do me a favor and I'm going to make that one required now. And then, let's see, that should be check boxes. So. Don't check none and then check all 3. That'll screw up the data. So we have 40 responses already, which is really pretty good. So I feel like we're going to make some headway here in this particular survey. So the survey will run till the end of the month. We'll present the data on Wednesday, March 3rd at 1 p.m. in the same way that we did last year's data. We'll just show you the diagrams. If you want the detailed survey, which is multiple pages, then include your email address at the end of the survey. That is an optional response. So it is not a required response. Okay, and then finally, remember to use your Google account to sign in, and that prevents anyone from taking the survey multiple times. Okay.
Other than to edit.
Okay. Anything in the room that we have to handle before we go to the?
No.
Okay. So let me check if there's no new voicemails or texts. Okay. So let's open the phone lines and let's talk about this. Let's talk about surveys and the Fenn treasure and what you think is going to happen this year with that survey information. So, call us and tell us what you think about this idea.
You want to make us big again?
Sorry. Right there.
There we are.
So call us and tell us what you think about this idea and whether we should keep doing it just for the fun of it and keep the data. Like I said, we had contact from a lot of publishers, media publishers, both digital and analog, asking us if we had any data related to the search, and they were very happy to get this. So we think it's a pretty accurate reflection of the data. Hooli, I think ES is in the room. He's just back there waiting for you to do something so he can whack you with a wrench. In which of the following
I know
treasure
Karen Warner's in
locations
the
have you
room.
been boots on the ground? Choose all that apply. None should be an option. I think we included that, didn't we?
Aaron Hurley, he says, but ask where warm waters halt. This is the information we really need. Yeah, but everybody's got a different answer. It's really hard to do a
Let's see,
survey on.
hang on,
Everybody's
so
got a different
In which
answer.
of the following treasure locations have you been boots on the ground? Let's see. In which of the following treasure locations have you been boots on the ground? New Mexico.
Choose all that apply. And then what, is it a check
Require?
boxes?
Yeah, it is required. So you want a none there? Check that.
Ah,
Aha.
always got to add none.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, so
required.
Missouri Dave, we just added none to in which of the following treasure locations have you been boots on the ground? Choose all that apply. Okay? So my problem, of course, is going to be that you can't select none and...
Okay, everybody, tell Aaron Hurley where warm waters halt. And
We should put just a fun question in there saying, where do you think warm waters halt?
yeah, we
And
should.
then just leave it a
And,
text
yeah,
question.
essay.
Yeah, essay question.
Essay.
Hey, essay.
Where do warm waters halt?
See, Huli, Eric is always there. Eric is always there. Uh-oh. Hang on, I just got a message from Cynthia about Peggy. Hold on. All I saw was the beginning of it. Just give me a second here. Let me see what's going on.
This just in. Fishing waters? Yeah, I think it's the state line between Colorado and New Mexico.
Oh, okay. So that's just a conversation that we're, an email conversation that we're part of. It had Peggy in it, and I didn't want to miss something important. So, but
But it
turns
was
out
not
it's not important.
Not a news item.
Okay, Drawing Nye says, yes, ask the lead searcher. The lead searcher is a myth created by people who want to assuage their
So
fear
ask the unicorn.
that they're not. So you can ask the unicorn, you can ask the dust fairy.
Will there be a quiz next time?
Ooh,
No, this is as close as we get to a quiz.
yeah, this is what it is.
There are no right answers.
That's correct.
It's just whatever you think.
Okay, so that's
There's no
all
wrong
we have.
answers either.
If we're not going to get calls from anybody, then I will let the rest of the afternoon go, and you guys can go about your business. We will see you tonight on the show at 7 o'clock. Open show. We've got some emails to read, a couple of text messages to read, voicemail to listen to. There's a guy that is looking for a partner in the Yellowstone area, so I'll read the email from him, and if you want to get in touch with him, you can send me an email, I'll forward it to him. He asked us, but we're not searching in that area. We're not searching, so I'm going to tell him that tonight. Okay, you guys, thanks for joining us today. Please
Make sure you text us or email us if you have any questions or ideas and you want to talk about them tonight on Friday Fandango, and we'll read them then.
Yeah, Jonah, if you have any evidence that there is a lead searcher, we'd be happy to listen to it. But again, otherwise, it's simply a myth. It's a fantasy created by the members of the community that think they think that they aren't the lead searcher. So
Yeah, well,
the lead searcher wouldn't be doing that.
lead searcher
Will there be a
is...
quiz next period? No, we're going to open it up. Again, the link to the survey is... we got one call. Here we go. Hey, you've reached Toby and Shelley. Tell us your name, where you're calling from, and what's your observation on the idea of surveying the community.
Hey, Toby, it's Rick down north of Houston.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. Just a little bit kind of sort of off topic, but I thought maybe we could talk about it later on as a group, whatever. But it just looks to me like we're kind of going around in circles again. And my wife still says that I asked her to look at the poem again, and she says, well, she can't figure out Fenn, who he is or what he's thinking. Can't we do a show on who is Fenn and try to look and see what we're missing with him, what is hidden? And for example, last night, middle of the night, I woke up. I really hate to say this, but Fenn is mentioned 3 or 4 times that he likes to sleep in the nude. He likes to go bathing in the hot springs in the nude. He mentioned when he was growing up how he hated being in the nude when he had to get in the cold water in the cabin and everybody was watching him take a bath.
Mm-hmm.
He's mentioned something about in his house, his wife put the
window,
the window skylights.
Skylight.
And he hates looking at himself now. I was just wondering if that might relate somehow to the first stanza. And it seems to me that I can't find anything in the books, anything else, to lead me to Warm Water's halt. I can't figure him out. Do you think any chance that first stanza may have to do something for Warm Water's halt?
So I wish I could give you an answer that I was confident had some level of credibility. But the simple fact of the matter is that one of the reasons we gave up looking for the treasure is that we concluded to ourselves that kind of where you're at, that idea that you're going around in circles, we concluded to ourselves that we didn't actually know what any of that we hadn't figured out enough about Fenn in order to determine what he was trying to tell us with the clues in the poem, the clues that start with begin Warm Water's halt, and what else he was trying to tell us any place else in the poem. And that's why we stopped. And I do some research. I play with the poem. I go back and, like he says, I read the poem over and over again. I read it word by word. I translate the words. I do all of that stuff. And I think I agree with you that it's going to take knowing in a personal way Forrest Fenn. And I'll go back to the idea that when he published this book, he published 1,000 copies of the book and he put it in collected works. His expectation was that it was going to be picked up and read by the people who knew him in Santa Fe. Now, Forrest Fenn in Santa Fe has what I'll call a mixed brand. There are some people that like him a lot, and there are other people that don't like him a lot. And but in any case, the people that liked him a lot had the opportunity to spend time with him. And I think one of the things that you get from spending time with Fenn is a sense of the kind of man he is. I think Dale Neitzel does it really interestingly. I don't know that he's done it recently, but he goes and he puts on his camera and then he lets Fenn talk. And I think the more you hear Fenn talk, and I think that's why it's important to look at all the interviews and all the book signings and things, especially, and I'm not trying to hype our own video here, but to me, the book signing at Moby Dickens in Taos is what I would call the most vulnerable Fenn. He's at his least defensive. And then as the treasure story grew, he got more and more defensive. And I don't mean defensive in a way that he was coming back at you. He was just building up layers of armor so that you couldn't get to him. But again, and I'll use you guys have heard me say this 100 times by now, I'll use the example of the David Blaine treasure. You didn't have to know David Blaine. You could read his book, and he told you there's a clue in each chapter of the book. You didn't have to know about David Blaine. You knew that, hey, A, he was a magician, and B, kind of a coyote trickster. That was how you could describe David Blaine, but you didn't have to know him. Right. You just had to go through the book and pull out the clues. In the case of the poem, we don't have that benefit. We get the memoir, and we can look at that and see if we can figure him out from that. And then we get the clues, supposedly, and I shouldn't say supposedly, I mean the clues, because it's arguably, begin at where Warm Water's halt down to look quickly down. And I say that, I use arguably because it is. Everybody has their opinion on what the clues are, where they are in the poem. But that's all we have. So now the only other thing that you have to understand all of this is who is Forrest Fenn. And I certainly don't have the kind of relationship. I always wonder if the people that do spend time with him, people like Cynthia and Christy and Jason Dent and
I talked about this with Cynthia the other night, and she said no, she didn't have any special insight that was helping her figure things out, and that Sam, his grandson, looked for it, and they couldn't figure him out either.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Well, what if you had I was going to say, what if you put a panel together with Dale on there and Cynthia and Christy, 4 or 5 people on a program where everybody could, talk back and forth.
I think that's certainly possible. We could do it with Christy and Cynthia, but there are others that are members of the communities that probably wouldn't join a panel that I was running.
Oh, okay. All right. I understand. Well, I just thought, I was just thinking that's the only way anybody's going to get ahead, if we could come up with some more ideas, or some hidden information about Fenn, or just a quirkiness about him, something that sparks a new innovation.
Yeah. Innovation. I agree with you. I think when you say we're all traveling around in circles, if you look at the statistics that we collect, it pretty much substantiates what you believe. We are traveling in circles. We don't know if we're making headway. Right. This myth of the lead searcher is an attempt to say to the search community that, hey, we're making progress. We know we're making progress because there's this mythical lead searcher that is closer to the treasure. There is no evidence of that. And I think that's one of the byproducts of the fact that we don't know we're making progress. We have no idea if we're making progress.
Absolutely. And I'm sure everybody's frustrated, but none of us are going to give up. And but I would just like to get some kind of spark to lead me down a road. I do believe it's New Mexico, and it's a physical warm waters halt. I think all the clues are geological, but I'm not getting anywhere.
Yeah, we get
join the club.
Yeah, we get 3 or 4 emails a night. So we get 3 or 4 emails a night that from people who say they've solved the poem and they would like us to go look for the treasure on their behalf. What's interesting about those 3 or 4 emails is that no 2 of them are the same in comparison to that night or any other time. Then we get 3 or 4 other emails asking, I've run out of ideas. Can you guys light some sort of spark? And it's terrible to have to say to those folks, but we're in the same boat. We've ran out of ideas, and that's why we stopped investing time, money, and effort in it, because at that point we were just wasting. We were having a good time together. We were having fun out looking for the treasure. But as I said, every time I went out last year, the 6 times that we went out to the Rio de los Pinos, my only regret was we weren't trout fishing. I should have been trout fishing. The next time, I promised myself the next time I go to the Rio de los Pinos, I'm not going to think about Fenn's treasure. I'm going to think about brown trout.
Well, you probably stumble over it then.
Yeah, slip down into a crevice. Yeah.
Right.
So, I would let
me
me suggest one other thing. So Shelley and I last year did a series on each of the chapters in the book, and we highlighted the things in the book that we thought were interesting. And then Shelley, because she's very good at this, kind of did not a psychoanalysis, because she doesn't claim to be a psychiatrist, but she knows people and she studied people, and she is a talented life coach. She threw in her 2 cents about what she was seeing in each of those, the vulnerabilities that she saw in some of those chapters. So I know it's a long, hard trek, but maybe you could go back to that series we went through every chapter, and we did. I think we turned My War for Me, because it's so big, into 7 different episodes.
Right.
So go back to that. Because I think that maybe it'll create that spark that you're looking for, because that's I think as close as I'm going to get to trying to understand more about Fenn. And then I guess the videos go. Dale Neitzel recently had his tech guy move all his videos from Vimeo over to YouTube, and I think it's called. Somebody know what Dale's channel is called, but he puts out a lot of videos, and because Fenn trusts Dale so much. He's very open with him. Now, they're not talking about treasure topics. They're talking about trout fishing and flying and a lot of other things that Dale knows are of interest to Fenn. But I think you can go back there and see the kind of the real non-treasure putter Fenn. He's all the other people. So that might be worth a look as well.
Well, I've emailed back and forth with Dale, and he answers right away. And he's a very nice fellow.
Yeah.
Get back before I've never met him, but he's always been really nice, and we chit chat about different ideas and stuff. And it's just that he's in the same groove too. He's in the same spot, same groove. He's not making any progress either, really.
Right. Yeah, I know. I don't. If he is frustrated, I don't know that he's frustrated. I do know that he's not going out as often as he used to, because he's struggling. He's been in every state. Yeah. He's had solutions theories in every state. So he's got to get to a point where you're going like, how many times do I have to break down my car to prove that I'm wrong again?
Well, the reason I got into stuff was when I was 15 years old. I found a couple of treasure chests that were hidden. They were clues given away by a radio station, and my friend and I found a couple of them. And I've been on this stuff forever and ever and ever. And I took 2 shoe boxes, painted them bronze, put them out on some rocks, and just in a general area. Mm-hmm. And I had told my friends, there's something hidden out in this area. Not one of them found sitting out there, 2 shoe boxes, painted like the rocks laying next to them. Nobody found it. And so you got to really understand how exact this whole thing has to work to find something as big as 2 shoe boxes. And even if somebody knows the general area, like I told these people, look at this area, they still couldn't see it.
Right.
It was all right when I went over there and pointed it to them. And so we're really missing something. I don't think we're that far off, but it's just there's something there that nobody's catching.
Agreed. And it's going to take, if I'm of the opinion at this stage that if I could figure out what would be enough of a spark to put it back in the community, like, hey guys, this is unarguably where warm water salt. I would share it with the community, just to say, like you say, man, we need something.
Well, I'm willing to help out too. I like people, and and tell you the truth, I'd feel a lot better if somebody would find it.
You know what, we hear that
else to concentrate on.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. We hear that a lot, both in email and in text messages, and when we talk to other searchers. They're at the. I just like it to be found, to know that it's A, that it's out there, and B, that somebody figured it out. And then, of course, the second thing they want is that the solution that gets to the treasure is actually shared with the community, because I think that's the next thing. I'd like to at least know what state was the damn
I would
thing.
love to know that.
Yeah.
Then I can go ahead and kick myself all night long. But yeah. Yeah, well, my wife, her background, she got a degree in journalism. Mm-hmm. And, she can look at poems and books, and she comes out with these things that I don't think of. I mean, mm-hmm. She's smart in that way of looking at things. But, like I said, she can't get anywhere with this either. So he's just, he's like a Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is one of a kind when it comes to financial business, and Fenn is one of a kind when it comes to this puzzle.
Right.
And, nobody else is liking to think his way, and that's what we got to figure out. I won't hold you up.
Well, let me just add to what you just said. I think one of the most difficult things when you hand the book to someone who's not familiar with the search and say, "What do you think about this?" and the hardest thing at that point is to shut off all your biases and listen to what they have to say. Because I think we just got an email, and I'm going to talk to him tonight. We just got an email from a gentleman who wrote asking for our help. He said he and his wife bought the book, and they solved it last night. So they bought the book the afternoon before last, and they solved it night before last in that 4-hour period. So I want to talk to them just to see, like, what did you come up with, And we've gotten in the habit of of okay, just before I promise to be, before I think about saying that I'm going to be your partner. Generally speaking, what state are you searching in? Because I'm not going to leave New Mexico, and it's not that I'm not going to leave New Mexico not because I think it's in New Mexico. I'm not going to leave New Mexico because I don't want to drive to Yellowstone based on somebody else's theory. That's
absolutely. It's expensive.
Yeah. It's 4 days worth of driving. Back and forth.
Yeah.
So, and bears.
I've been up there many times. I lived in Denver, and all around those places, and. It's like Cynthia. Cynthia, she's a smart person, and she may be right. But I'll tell you the truth. My thinking is, being that this treasure is so small and so exact, is that no way she's looked at every place in New Mexico.
Yeah, you can't. No, it's impossible. I mean,
physically impossible.
Yeah, we've been 4 or 5 places, but to the general areas. But the minute you get there, the minute you hit boots on the ground, and you get to where you think the blaze might be, you've got 1,000 places just to look there. You've got to keep going back to that spot.
Right.
And if you're coming from New York State to do that, there's only so many times you can do that before your family goes, "Hey, you spent the mortgage money this month," that kind of thing, whatever it is.
Right.
So.
No, you're 100% right. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks both of you. I really do appreciate it. And I'll talk to you when I come up with something else.
We look forward to it.
All right. Bye-bye.
You take care. Bye-bye.
So Davio said in the chat room that he went out with a friend, confirmed his location, and came back. So congratulations.
Congrats for that.
Davio.
So Davio, do you want to change your next search month thing?
Are you going to go back again, Davio?
Yeah, got to go back again. I mean, if you're that close. Phone lines are open, 866-597-9901, depending on how much you want to talk. We haven't enough time for at least one more call, and then we can continue the conversation this evening. I don't care. This is a fun topic for me.
Jonah wanted to know what was a rooster. A rooster is somebody who's crowing that they know where the treasure is, and they're going to go get it.
Hey, you've reached Toby and Shelley. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And what are your thoughts on this matter of Fenn and the survey? Or, well, you can talk about anything, but tell me who you are and where you're calling from.
It's Heather Dawn from Wyoming.
Oh, it sure is. Let me turn your volume down just a little bit. Okay. Go ahead, Heather Dawn. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. Just dealing with my pain and trying to get some exercise in and dealing with the thunderstorms that's been happening like every other day up here.
And remind me again, you're in Wyoming or Montana?
I'm in Wyoming.
Wyoming, okay. I just wanted to make sure. So what did you have to say about what we were talking about? Cody.
Okay, yeah, I found a couple things in the Thrill of the Chase that I haven't heard anybody discuss.
Okay.
And so the first thing is on page 40, and I'm going to read you a paragraph, okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So Father likes Gypsy best, and I knew when he got a licking, anything could happen after that. So I just stand there and wait for my turn at the paddle. Mom was always knitting and didn't seem to notice, and June was asleep by that time. So it never became an issue in our family. After 4 or 5 times, the spankings began to work for me. But, and this is where it is, but I'm not sure Skippy ever learned. Maybe he was turning alpha. So he actually calls Skippy alpha.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about the alpha and omega, Skippy being alpha, Fenn being an omega. And so the first clue might have to do with Skippy, and the last clue would have to do with Forrest.
Oh, that's interesting. When I read that, I was thinking in terms of personality classifications. Alpha being a personality classification versus Bravo, Delta, Charlie, and Delta. And an alpha male or an alpha female is very assertive, and then it goes progressively less assertive as you go down to the Delta, and the Delta is perfectly submissive. And traditionally, I think older children are alpha males, I'm sorry, older males. If the oldest is a male, he'll generally turn out alpha, even if his father tries to beat it out of him, because the alpha male, the oldest male, tends to be the most rebellious. In some ways, they're the most loved, etc., etc., but they're also the most rebellious. And eventually, parents back then used to try to beat that alpha out of them, and it just made it worse. Middle children are a little bit more submissive. I don't think of, I hate he's going to watch this. So I don't think of Fenn as an alpha male. I think of him as a beta, but he's a very organized beta. So, and that comes from being the middle child and the one that accepted the fact that he was going to get beat. Skippy probably never expected that. But that's an interesting perspective with your alpha and omega. Skippy being the alpha and Fenn being...
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I interrupted you. You go ahead.
Okay, so then the second thing that caught my attention is on the first page of my work for me, on page 76. I'll just read this short sentence. It says, the endless hours of classroom training and sorties flown on the gunnery range around the world had bred us to it. It was almost umbilical. So when I saw that word umbilical, that really stuck out to me too. So I've been trying to figure out these endless hours, the umbilical here, to putting that into the end of my soul of how that could be umbilically related to him when it comes to classrooms.
Well, so I don't know if necessarily the umbilicalness is connected to the classroom as much as it is to the idea that he was flying. He was trained both in a classroom perspective and on a gunnery range perspective to be a fighter pilot. And I think that the connection there is the umbilical thing has always interested me because he's used it more than once in both his writing and his speaking. And I like the idea that he's umbilically coordinated, meaning spiritual, I'm sorry, not coordinated, umbilically connected to his special place. And I think that's one of those things that we really need to think about because when he uses the word umbilical, I have a sense that he's using it in a way that he feels connected to it, in the same way that I'm not as connected. So I could say if there was any place I'm a gypsy, so right. I've never had the kind of roots any place that said I'm umbilically connected to. But when people ask me about my heritage, I say I was born and raised in Santa Fe, but I spent most of my life in Virginia and Washington because I grew up, as an adult in Washington, D.C., so that's where I feel more umbilically connected to Washington, D.C. than I do to Santa Fe, New Mexico, where I was born. So that's one of the things that we have to think about, where spiritually speaking, does he feel like he's umbilically connected?
Yeah, it definitely has something to do with the mountains as his church and a place where he could ground out.
Exactly.
And I think it's very quiet wherever it is. Very quiet. Except for maybe some water. I got a beginning and I got a starting point, but of course, it doesn't matter how good your worm water salt until you actually find the chest,
Yep.
He's said that multiple times. So
yes, he has.
There's no way of knowing until you actually find it. So that's why I'm not going to be put on your list. But I wish the best to the people on the list. And
we do too. And we're not going to tease them by claiming that's a return to the walk of shame, right? We've all experienced the walk of shame. I have 32 times, so there's nothing.
I have many. I think I'm going boots on the ground this weekend, and I'm going to take my husband. Yeah, I'm going to take my husband this time, and I'll probably check in. Are you guys going to do a Sunday Fun Day again?
No, the only reason we did that was because we had gotten behind as a result of dedicating our shows to other efforts, including that interview with Mayor Josh and our tubathon for
Susie. Hi, honey.
Susie.
Yeah, Susie
Hi,
Fennhaven.
Shelley.
Yeah, we did So we did a little tubathon for her. Last time I checked with her, she was over $650. So she's making headway. She
That's wonderful.
Might get her dream to come down to Santa Fe.
Oh, that's my dream too. It is.
Well, if you ever find yourself in the area, let us know.
Yeah. Definitely I will. Thank you for taking my call, and I'll just keep listening to your show, and I love you guys.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to shut the phone lines off because we're getting close to the end here. But there is a voicemail. Let me see what we've got. If it's a short voicemail. Oh, those are texts. Okay. And so we're good.
Hello, Toby. My name is Dwayne. I can be reached at.
Okay. Didn't want to play that.
No, we didn't want to play that.
I don't know. So my smart line calls are starting to show up in my personal voicemail, which I think is weird.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Anyway.
What else we got?
BKS says we should start calling the list of people who are telling us when they're finding the treasure our Rooster Roster. I like that. Thank you, BKS. Roster. That's what it's going to be called from now on. The Rooster Roster.
BKS, wasn't there like a serial killer called a BK?
I don't know.
That guy in Oklahoma.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't keep track of serial killers.
All right, sorry. You know me.
Except for the one that was my dad's friend. Then.
What?
The one up in Seattle.
Oh, he was your dad's friend?
Well, they used to work at the same place, and
he
had coffee in the break room with him.
Oh my God, the Green River Killer?
Yeah. He had he had coffee with him in the break room every now and then.
Wow. Oh, it's Hooley says BTK. Thank you, Hooley. So I don't blame poor BKS, BTK. Thanks.
Thanks.
What's the B? I can't remember what the BTK stands for. Not that I want to talk about serial killers.
By the K. By the K.
Let's see.
By the no. Who knows?
Oh no! Don't. I don't think you can say what the BT. Yeah, let's see.
It's bad words.
No, it was. Yeah, I don't think we can do it. Don't do it. Never mind. Just kidding. Okay, guys. So that's it for this afternoon show. Please use the link in the description box below to take our survey. Take the survey. If you took the survey before we made those changes in real time, as people were informing us of the difficulties of the survey, please go back and edit your survey. You
and
can do
share it with other people. Let them know about it so
Yeah.
they can take it too.
Right, exactly. So let me see.
The more information we have, the better the answers.
Let me see.
The better quality answers we'll have in the
So
end.
we're up to 46 responses, so that's really good.
Yeah.
Just in the first day. So like I said, I have posted it at Chase Chat, the Hint of Riches, Harry's Chase. If you have a forum that you belong to, I don't belong to Mysterious Writings or Dale's blog, Dale's forum. So if you belong to either one of those forums, please post the link there so that we can collect as much data as possible. Again, remind them that it doesn't require any personal or contact information unless they want a copy of the search results. I'm sorry, the survey results after it's completed the search results. I can tell you what my search results are in 3 words. We ain't got it. 4 words, sorry.
We ain't got nothing.
We ain't got nothing. Okay, so again, thanks for joining us today. And
don't forget the Softer Side at 2:30 at thesofterside.live. And we'll be back tonight with Friday Fandango at 7 o'clock. And make sure you send us your texts and emails so that we have fun stuff to talk about, and be ready to do those phone calls tonight as well. I'll have open phone lines.
yeah, we're going to open up the phone call period a little bit longer based on that other
Yeah,
survey
we've
that
caught up mostly now.
What's the
so.
title of your Softer Side today?
Softer Side is how to improve your life after a breakup.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Join us for that at 2:30 over on the Softer Side channel. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you at 7 o'clock this evening.